93.7 FM in Abuja. My name is Lawrence Umoiti. Yes, we will be going through headlines from the papers today, and later on in the second half of the show, we will also settle down to look at some of the stories in detail. So we start off right away with the Guardian newspaper, and the lead story here reads: Court sentences teacher to life imprisonment for defiling two 7-year-olds. A sad story there. Wike gives condition to end political crisis in Rivers. And the Senate decries brain drain in education, urges increased allocation. Still staying with the Guardian newspaper, achieving energy independence, sustainable development through just transition. And the United Nations Security Council, imperatives of reform and push for sovereignty. All this you can find on the front page of the Guardian newspaper. Still staying there, we also have the story: oil spills, reps panel threatens arrest warrants on oil companies. Mixed reaction trail suspension of Alimo Shaw chairman. Lagos Calabar Highway gets May 2025 completion date. And FG upgrades NIIT to convert petrol vehicles to CNG. And police arrest suspected killers of Shagamu Hunter, 2 others for housebreaking. And on insecurity, Ohaneze Lord Matawale Ripadu for protecting Digbo. Senate demands immediate dredging of Niger-Benue rivers. And court affirmed Julius Abure as Labour Party national chairman. And a little bit of the foreign scene: Zimbabwe battles cholera outbreak. And in Pakistan, what's behind the Balochistan armed insurgency? Indian workers rescued 17 days. Indian workers rescued 17 days after tunnel collapse. Oyo diverts traffic for Mokola Shango route reconstruction. Family seeks investigation in death of grandma, 4 children over food poisoning. Police warn of surge in motorcycle theft in Ogun. Arrest suspect. Federal government to recruit stout maritime haulage tax reform marshals. Army cracks down on oil thieves in Niger Delta. Arrest 10, recover 115,000 liters. Police rescue foreigner from IPOB in Anambra State. Anti-graft war won't be won by technicalities. This is according to President Bola Tinubu. And the government urged to establish legislative framework for continental shelf. PDP leaders disagree on cause of party crisis. Allow clerics, others to appoint INEC officials. Youth urge National Assembly. Plateau affirms readiness for 4,949 polling units for today's council poll. And Senate approves bill to establish universities of applied sciences in Kashia. And moving on to the Ondo governorship election, 38 days to poll. Political parties delay campaign. And we move on to the Punch newspaper now. Marketers to begin direct Dangote petrol purchase. Kanu's detention, Igbo clerics accuse Southeast governors of conspiracy. PDP Deputy Chairman Ugo Chinyere disagree over cause of party crisis. OT faction loses as court declares Abure LP chair. Supreme Court hears 16 states suit challenging EFCC legality October 22. FG confirms Oyedepo's Kenaland airstrip approval. And back to the violence in River State. Fubara others probe. Wike alleges disobedient to court orders. Stop crude for loan deals, Dangote tells government. And FG 31 member panel to begin talks with ASU. FDI crashes to record low of $29.8 million. That's the foreign direct investment. And federal government shops for PEMSEX from 8 states. Okay, police hunt alleged killers of Niger man over phone. And relief as 19 escape death in Delta road crash. We move on to the Tribune newspaper. Why I walked against PDP in 2023 presidential election. Yes, on Wiki. Court affirms Abure as Labour Party's national chairman. We move on to the Nation newspaper, and it leads with the story 16 states to Supreme Court. Bar EFCC and FIU from probing our accounts. And fund directs cargo operators to work with designated areas. The fund has the Federal Airports Authorities of Nigeria. And Oba of Benin asked Obekpolo to fulfill campaign promises. Mike blames violence on Fubara's refusal to obey court order. Shetima unveils initiative to combat malnutrition. Daily Trust newspaper is next, and it leads with the story: we are yet to lift oil from Dangote refinery, Ipman. And cholera-related deaths rise as Lagos, Jigawa, Kano lead in casualties. Senate passes bill to establish Federal University in Kashia, Kaduna South. Kenya lawmakers vote to impeach Deputy President. PDP leaders clash in Abuja over Atiku Wike. Our refinery was built without government incentive, Dangote. Supreme Court to hear 16 state suit against EFCC on October the 22nd. And the leadership leads with this story, which I'm sure a lot of Nigerians will not want to hear. Market forces, petrol price may hit 1,100 naira per litre. And finally, we move on to this day newspaper. And back to the Rivers State crisis. Fubara says we will unravel Asonis. And Wike counters Fubara broke the law. And Governor inaugurates Judicial Commission on Violence. Calm returns as Council Chairman resume. New CP warns troublemakers vow to restore peace. And those are some of the details in the Rivers State crisis. Court orders INEC to recognize Aburi-led Labour Party and extend party dues to it. Lokpobiri says federal government anticipates $50 billion investment into oil sector before year end. Wow, that's huge, $50 billion investment. Okay. And House urges federal government to explore $23 billion climate investment fund. Okonjo-Iweala seeks cut in subsidies on cotton, more market access for developing countries. "15 states join Kogi at Supreme Court to challenge EFCC's Establishment Act." All right, so those are some of the headlines from the papers this morning. We will take a short break, and when we return, we will look at some of the stories in detail. Still newspaper review, Citizen 93.7 FM, Abuja. Please don't go away. We will be back in a moment.
The Renewed Hope Agenda for Nigeria is the brainchild of President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration. It is geared towards renewing the hopes of Nigerians for a better future through its policies, projects, and programs that are aimed towards lifting the GDP and economic growth of the nation by improving standard of living of the average Nigerian. The Renewed Hope Agenda Radio is poised to promote all of the above while enlightening Nigerians as well. Join us every Tuesday afternoon, 2 p.m. on Citizen FM Radio, 93.7, Labor House, Central Business District, Abuja. Renewed Hope Agenda Radio on 93.7 FM. The future starts today.
Oya o my people, make una come gather here. Which kind tori una wan hear on top radio? Wetin dey catch fire on top social media? Bring am on top Make We Talk Am for Citizen 93.7 FM Abuja every Monday go reach Thursday, and the time na 5:10 wey be 10 minutes after 5. Make we talk am as e dey be.
It all began as just patriotic volunteers, but now we operate as a full-fledged paramilitary of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, protecting lives and infrastructures. We are the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, a member nation of the International Civil Defense Organization, with a world headquarters in Geneva, Switzerland. NSCDC, the defender. That's who we are.
The issues.
Everybody respected that because it was coming from the president.
Theory behind it, the way the people took the battle in their hands.
Some civil servant retire without a roof over his head.
The cause.
If we cannot trust you, then you cannot take the ticket of this country. Hussein cannot be divulged from those who cause the crime. Honestly.
The passion.
You must have national spread. So where is it?
Why are you so concerned about that?
He said money was.
I never.
No. The platform is always the same.
Insight on Citizen FM 93.7.
The source is constant.
My name is Lawrence Umoite.
There is always an opportunity.
Tomorrow, Insight returns with another interesting.
Insight with Lawrence Umoite on Citizen 93.7 FM Abuja. Be part of the experience.
Did you miss out on the news during the week? Not to worry. Retrospect is here to make up for the missed information. Retrospect is a complete package of all the major news headlines that made the airwaves from Sunday to Saturday. Join me, Esther Wonsu, on the program Retrospect on Citizen 93.7 FM Abuja every Sunday at 6 p.m. Retrospect. We keep you informed.
Need a lift? Feeling low, bored, or confused?
Wants your dream to brightly glow?
Here is what to do.
Women's Corner is waiting just for you.
Education, work, lifestyle, career, mentorship, and family too.
We will tackle the issues, provide solutions, and see you through. Finding your voice, reaching high, and making an impact. Women's Corner, where knowledge can fly.
Join us every Mondays and Wednesdays at 1 p.m. for inspiring stories and practical advice to reach all your glories.
It's Women's Corner on Citizen 93.7 FM.
Thank you so much for staying tuned. It's still newspaper review on Citizen 93.7 FM here in Abuja. My name is Lawrence Umoite. Welcome to the second half of the show. And this is where we unveil in-house analyst, Mr. Salman Salami. Good morning, sir.
Very good morning to you, Lawrence Umoite, and our teeming citizen listener. Very good morning to you.
All right. This is the point where you can join the conversation. You can call us on 0903 2229797. You can also call us on 0818 2222205 or 0818 2222206. You can also send us a WhatsApp message on any of the numbers and we will read out your message. Just let us know where you are writing in from. And okay, Mr. Salman Salami is the Chief Operating Officer of Citizen 93.7 FM. Once again, it's good to see you, Mr. Salman Salami.
It's a pleasure to be here. Always a pleasure.
Alhaji Salman, welcome to the show. Anyway, let's start with the Nation newspaper. This is a very interesting story. It says 16 states to Supreme Court. Please bar EFCC, NFIU from probing our accounts. The Supreme Court is set to determine the powers of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to investigate states. It has scheduled a meeting for October the 22nd, a hearing for October the 22nd. 16 states are challenging the constitutionality of the law establishing the EFCC. The Apex Court 7-member panel presided over by Justice Owani Abba Aji chose the date yesterday after consolidating 3 suits filed separately by 3 states, including Kogi. And the court also granted the request by 13 states to be made co-plaintiffs in the case filed in the name of their attorneys general. Mr. Salami.
Well, 15 or 16 states suing the EFCC and the financial institution over the power or lack of it to look into the accounts of the state. Yes, they should have been allowed to help themselves to the treasury. That would have been better instead of trying to challenge the constitutionality or not of the EFCC. You see, our decadence has reached a level where shame has been sold cheap, as if we are selling tom-tom. It's really sad. It's really sad. Whether we like it or not, one of the institutions, necessary institutions of the state, whether it is performing maximally or not is a different ballgame. One of the necessary institutions of the state is the EFCC. To check as it was that the moral burden is still there. And I thank God for the Supreme Court of Nigeria as it is constituted today. The court understands what is going on in the country today. What is power without control? That we should allow you, public office holders, to help yourselves to the covers of the state without any control. No court will allow that. And in any case, when was EFCC established? It has just dawned on them now that they should query the constitutionality or otherwise of EFCC. Good luck to them. It is money yet, it is done yet on money day.
All right, Mr. Salame, I want us to look at this issue dispassionately, with less emotions. We are talking about Nigeria being a federation. What is the business of a federal institution into looking into the accounts of a component state? What is the role of the State House of Assembly?
Lawrence, our own federalism is a peculiar one.
Okay, we have our own brand of it.
We do. If you don't know.
As brought from where?
We don't need to bring it. It is to suit our peculiarity. Of course, if you talk of federating state, is it not the state and the federal government? How come the local government? Are they part of the federating state? You see, when you say the person with a bad leg, that his legs are not good, that is wobbling, you say, why don't you look down? You see, whether we like it or not, our own federalism is not in tandem, or it's not in pari materia with the federalism being practiced in the US. And it is good because we must adapt it to suit our own peculiarity. Let us say the truth.
And what is the truth?
And the truth is this. When the states were allowed to have their own state independent electoral commission, you have been seeing the returns.
Okay.
Right from day one.
Okay.
And who is that institution in the state that dare look in the eyes of the governor? Come on.
So,
let us look at
what are you saying that we should, in that sense, cancel the federation and go back to a unitary system?
That is a topic for another day, and there is the need to look at it properly. But as it is today, EFCC has been serving a good cause. It has served us right to a large extent. If there is need to tinker with it, yes, we should. To now say that EFCC, we have just realized that you don't have such power to look into the accounts of the state. Why? Because it negates the principle of federalism, is to say the least laughable.
Okay, but well, that is what the courts will determine, because we are not looking at our own kind of federalism here. We are looking at the laws. We are looking at our constitution. And the Supreme Court, in its wisdom, would decide whether, of a truth, in the spirit of federalism, a federal agency can really decide to look into the accounts of a component state. This is the crux of the matter, and we hope that at the end of the day, we will see a just judgment.
Let me just add this. The police, is this a state police? Yeah, so if you see, if we now choose to look at the speaker and how it works, we will spoil a lot of things.
No. You are missing the points.
Okay.
You are missing because the police is in the exclusive list. And you know what happens in the exclusive list. The federal government has the exclusive right. But the affairs of the state is in the residual list. And which means that the state will have that. So let us not preempt our lordships at the...
Well, unfortunately, you weren't...
Let's leave it at that for now. You see, I think our focus should be on how to make the state assemblies stronger, more independent, and how to make institutions in the state live up to their responsibilities. All right, let's move on to this story, which the Guardian newspaper. Senate demands immediate dredging of River Niger and Benue. The Senate has urged President Bola Tinubu to order immediate dredging of the River Niger and Benue as part of preventive measures against flooding and facilitate its inclusion in the 2025 budget. The Upper Legislative Chamber adopted the resolution following a motion moved by one of the senators on the urgent need for intervention in the humanitarian crisis by flooding in an Adamawa senatorial district. Mr. Salami, is it my problem with sometimes our solutions? Sometimes we behave as if we sleep and we just wake up. When you say they should dredge River Niger immediately, is this something that is done overnight? People just move equipment to the rivers and start dredging?
Don't you know that all our senators are hydrologists? They are all hydrologists, so they know what they are saying. So you see, at times we appear to think with our legs, with all due respect. And the point is this: you just decided in your capacity as senators who understands flooding, the causes and effects of flooding, that what is needed is to dredge River Niger and Benue. In fact, so that the ships could come even from Lagos.
Immediately.
General senators. You see, the thing is this: there is the need for us to be deliberate and intentional in doing things. At what point in time did we carry out a survey, or did we consult those who are knowledgeable about it? And is that their findings? That the solution to flooding is the dredging of River Niger and Benue. Mr. President, please don't listen to them.
No. For me, my only quarrel with what they are saying is the immediate factor. If it's something that is in the long term or something that will be done after due consultation and everything, all well and good, but this automatic suggestion with immediate effect, these are hangovers of military era.
Is that not why I said that Mr. President should just ignore them?
No,
that's the word.
No, that would not be fair. We are talking about the highest lawmaking organ of the country.
Everything stops at the desk.
But the president is not a dictator, and I'm sure the president is a politician, so no president can afford to ignore the Senate.
He can decide not to append his signature. He has every right to do that if he feels that that is not the best decision to take.
All right, okay. Well, let's move. Still staying with the Senate. The Senate also decried brain drain in education, and it urged increased allocation. The Senate has raised concerns over escalating brain drain in the country, universities, and other critical sectors, calling for increased budgetary allocations to address the issue. This was as President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, called for strengthening of bilateral ties between Nigeria and the Republic of Korea, emphasizing cooperation in critical areas like security, agriculture, poverty reduction, and climate change. Mr. Salam.
Lawrence, what percentage of our budget goes into education? It's a critical question.
It is.
And if we are able to answer that question, we will have answered so many other questions. But I am not a fan of those who think that throwing money at problem will solve problem. It is not so. It is not so. We must first do a hard-headed thinking and find out what exactly are the problems. It is after identifying the problems and the causes that we begin to think of throwing money at it. And how much do we throw at it? Unless we do that, we still get it wrong. Yes, I agree. Great that the Senate decided that there is the need for increase in the allocation to the education sector. But more than that, the lecturers or the personnel should be motivated. The capacity building, the capacity should be built in such a way that you make teaching attractive. What am I saying? You must provide what I call a conducive environment for ideas to clash, for knowledge to blossom. Until you do that, that's why when there were exchanges in most of our universities, you see students from other countries. That was when universities were in the real sense universities, universality of knowledge.
Knowledge and ideas. Well, still talking about education, there's this story also, the Punch newspaper, federal government, 31-member panel to begin talks with ASU. The Federal Ministry of Education has set up a 31-man panel to renegotiate the agreement entered into between the federal government and the Academic Staff Union of Universities. The committee, according to findings, will be inaugurated next week. This move by the government is part of plans to avert a potential disruption in the calendar of universities following a fresh strike threat issued by ASU.
Yeah, we come again. Yeah, we come again. 31-man panel to renegotiate. You see, trust building is very important. When you even enter into an agreement and you suddenly discover that you entered into that agreement without considering how it affects or affected you, Lawrence, agreement is binding. Right? Agreement is binding. My prayer is this: I hope we will not get this situation whereby ASU will down tool again. Never again.
Never.
I pray not.
Never will our universities be shut down due to labor disputes. Never again. Never to those dark days again. Never. But you can be part of the discussion. The phone lines are open. You can call us on 0903 2229797. You can also call us on 0818 2222205 or 0818222206. Let us know your thought on any of the stories that we have read so far. And Mr. Salami, let's move on to some politics. Staying with the Punch newspaper, Ote faction loses as court declares Abure LP chair. The embattled national chairman of the Labour Party, Julius Abure, on Tuesday expressed his willingness to reconcile with aggrieved members and party stakeholders, appealing to the 2023 LP presidential candidate, Peter Obi, to help mediate and unify the party. Abure's plea came just a few hours after the Federal High Court in Abuja declared the contentious National Convention, which reaffirmed its leadership and that of the National Working Committee as valid. Mr. Salami, you think this will be the end of this leadership tussle?
Clearly not. Clearly not. I know clearly when Abure was saying what he said, I said in his capacity as the court installed chairman, the truth is this: the train had left the station long before now. And I wouldn't know whether buying ticket now will help you to catch up with the train. But then I think there's need for reconciliation. And I don't know how they will do it, because even the man is calling on to help stabilize the party is with the other party, because he knows where the real power, the soul of the party is. You see, the nucleus of the party. And I pray that our tall man, the comrade president, will agree. But I think it's never too late to reconcile. And in dialogue is the word. I keep on saying it. Jojo is better
than war. All right, let's move on to Daily Trust. Cholera-related deaths rise as Lagos, Jigawa, Kano lead in casualties. The 4 states just mentioned are leading the numbers of deaths from cholera since the beginning of the year. This is according to reports by Daily Trust. According to the Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention, a total of 10,000 suspected cases and 359 deaths from cholera have been reported. An analysis of the latest situation report from the agency shows that the deaths recorded occurred in 21 states. The NCDC's report stated that the cumulative deaths recorded from cholera this year increased by 239% compared to the ones recorded in last year. Mr. Salami, as a nation, we have enough problems on our hands. Not to add this, these are avoidable deaths.
Lawrence, it is a shame that in the 21st century, we are still talking of cholera killing people. This is lifestyle, right? It is lifestyle. When you live in a dirty environment, when you eat food that is not well prepared, you aren't hygienic about it, of course the result is disorder. Abi? Gastroenteritis. I'm not a doctor, but I think it is avoidable. It is what I would call senseless loss of life, of waste of lives. And in fact, what is the worth of life in this part of the world? Help me out. Do we really care about life and living? Life is cheap in this country. And I'm saying this with all sense of responsibility. Because in this 21st century, we shouldn't be talking of death as a result of cholera. It is avoidable.
All right, Mr. Salami, I just feel we should take this story. It's not in Nigeria, far away, but it still is in Africa. But it resonates with us in Nigeria when we listen to this story. This is the headline from Daily Trust. Kenya lawmakers vote to impeach Deputy President. The Kenyan lawmakers on Tuesday voted to impeach Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua from office for abuse of office. The impeach motion accused the 59-year-old deputy to President William Ruto of corruption, insubordination, undermining the government, and practicing ethically divisive politics, among others. In a historic move, the motion was approved by 281 MPs in the 349-member National Assembly, more than the two-thirds required. There were 44 votes against and 1 abstention, according to Parliament Speaker Moses Wetangula. Mr. Salami, the Vice President's problems started when he fell out with the President. They had differences, and before you knew it, the parties, the Parliament decided to ease him out. Does this remind you of anything about Nigeria?
It does. It does very well. Since 1999 up to date, look at the relationship between the governors and their deputies. And in fact, look at the relationship between President Obasanjo and Atiku Abubakar.
Exactly.
In fact, it is not lost on me. It is not lost on me. And you see, I've been saying it that what should rule is not man, but the law. Let the law rule. Obama came to Nigeria and said that we should have strong institutions and not strong individuals. It's unfortunate that the black race, of which I am one, is yet to get it right. We need to do things right. We need to agree that we are going to allow the law to rule and not the man. Well, let us see how it pans out. But I want to believe that if the witches cried yesterday night
and the child
dies today,
what happens? You put 2 and 2 together without any scientific proof. Anyway, all right, let's move on to another story. And Mr. Salami a while ago was talking about our eating habits and our feeding habits. And there's this story here that says Shettima unveils framework for federal government nationwide nutrition program. And Vice President Kasim Shettima has unveiled a framework for the federal government's nutrition program aimed at addressing malnutrition and food insecurity in the country. The proposed program, Nutrition 774 Initiative, is expected to improve nutritional outcomes across all 774 local government areas of Nigeria. And the Vice President said the priority with which President Tinubu has pursued food availability has gone hand in hand with the commitment to eradicating malnutrition. Mr. Salami.
I'm a bit circumspect.
Okay.
Why? You see, balanced diet presupposes that you have choices. And if you are to eat beans in the morning and carbohydrate in the afternoon, maybe supplement or vitamins or maybe fruits in the evening, it is good. You see, the truth is this. What can you say about the purchasing power of the people? What can you say about the availability of the food? What can you say about the prices and accessibility? You see, I think what we should first do is what we should work on food security first. If you have food yafu, so to speak, quote and unquote, people know what to do. There is nobody who will tell you that eba is better than beans. No.
Why not?
In the morning, in the afternoon, and in the night.
Is there a prescription when to eat eba? Mr. Salami.
Lawrence.
Our forefathers did that, and they lived to be 100.
Look, you are missing the point. Even if they were to eat eba, they will eat it with vegetable, and the vegetable were fresh ones, and it was readily available behind the compound. It's not the vegetable that they will bring from the hinterland that will spend 7 days before it gets to Abuja, and in the process, the vehicle broke down and diesel. Or the organic, it was not the organic one. I don't know what I'm saying.
I understand.
You see, and the environment too was not polluted. It was clean air they were breathing. Of course, just opposite with what we have today. It is look, the truth is this: it's a misplaced priority. And the money, with all due respect, the money that will go into the campaign is not necessary. It should be channeled into better things. There is the need for food security first. Let us ensure we have food first before we begin to think of dieting or which one to eat in the morning, which one to a balanced diet. In actual fact, do Nigerians even talk about balance in the diet nowadays? The question is, have you eaten? Not what did you eat?
And these days it's dangerous to even ask that question, have you eaten?
Very
because
dangerous.
Except you're ready to provide, because you know what the answer will be.
It is only natural.
All right, Mr. Salami, let's look at this story. It's a sad one, and I deliberately left it for the last. Court sentences teacher to life imprisonment for defiling 2 7-year-olds. And this is a quote from the judge. Said, "You are an irresponsible and randy teacher who teaches his students nonsense and should be locked away." These were the words of Justice Abiola Sholadoye of the Sexual Offences and Domestic Violence Court yesterday, after she found Benjamin Ogba, a teacher, the head, guilty of defiling 2 7-year-old pupils. The judge who convicted him and sentenced him to double life imprisonment, held that the prosecution had proved the charge of defilement beyond reasonable doubt. The state government had arraigned Ogba for the offense he committed sometime in 2019. The prosecution said that the defendant defiled the 2 survivors by having unlawful intercourse with them. Mr. Salami.
May God bless the judge. Lawrence, it is madness. It's sheer madness. A 7-year-old.
Two of them.
Even one is more than enough. A 7-year-old girl. Head teacher. Look, let's get it straight. My sentiment and emotion is not for the man. Rather, I will ask the warders to deal with him decisively too. In fact, he's not fit to live within human beings. You mean our decadence has gotten to that level where you put your words in the custody of a teacher, quote and unquote, because this man is not a teacher. It's not. Not by any stretch of the word. He's not a teacher. He's a criminal. And he doesn't belong to be in the midst of decent people. Let him remain there.
Yeah, and I will also say that kudos should also go to the Lagos State government, especially for the creation of these sexual offences and domestic violence courts. You remember, Mr. Salami, if it were to go through the normal court administrative stuff, 10 years from now, the case will still linger on.
Lawrence, Lagos State is a trailblazer.
So many ways, yeah. I agree.
On so many issues. There is governance going on there. We don't live there. I don't even like going to Lagos. But the truth be told, somebody is in charge. They have always been in charge. Lagos State has been so lucky since 1999. They've been having incrementally leaders, governors who are to a large extent interested in the welfare and well-being of the people. And it is visible to the blind, audible to the deaf, and perhaps tangible to the paralytic that Lagos State is moving forward. Forward ever.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Salman Salami. As always a pleasure to have you on the show because of your wealth of experience and your institutional memory that you always bring to bear on the show. Thank you so much, Salman Salami, Chief Operating Officer, Citizen 93.7 FM.
Well, I thank you. I won't fall for your flattery.
All right, that's our show today. Tomorrow will be another day. Join us 7 a.m. bright and early. My name is Lawrence Omoite. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Not only you be her lover, put ear for ground. The omo is good on Johnny. Original and young, get money in her hand, back na ground. This one, a razor blade, Samsung baby pancake.